Hello people, welcome back to yet another video in Android malware series. So today we will be learning a bit basics about ransomwares. So let's get started. So what basically is ransomware? Ransomware is nothing but a combination of two terms, that is ransom and software. So what is ransom basically? So ransom is nothing but a sum of money demanded or paid for the release of a captive. You know, in those old days, kidnappers would kidnap your loved one, or they will held captive your loved ones, and in return of their release they will ask for some kind of money, and that basically is called ransom. So in today's technological world, it's boring, right? No attacker or kidnapper is going to go out physically and roam around kidnapping people. So in today's technological world, what attackers will do is they'll build some kind of software which will keep your data captive, and in return of the release of your data they'll ask some kind of ransom. So that basically is ransomware in today's world. So when I say captive your data and release your data, this is basically nothing but encryption and decryption. Yes, there is different type of ransomware which I'll show you in this video, which doesn't completely work on encryption and decryption, but for now understand this is the basics of ransomware. So for purpose of simplicity, I have made this raw image which will try to, which will be easy for us to understand the ransomware types. So in Android ransomware, we have basically two types of ransomwares, which is crypto ransomware and locker ransomware. We can consider a third category as well, which is combination of both of this, but for now let's keep that third category aside. So crypto ransomware is a type of app basically which will encrypt your data. All the files that are present on your device will be encrypted, and you won't be able to use those files unless and until you decrypt them. And in order to decrypt, you will have to pay some ransom to the attacker, and in return he or she will give you the key, the decryption key, which will be used to decrypt your files. And second type is locker ransomware. Locker ransomware is, I think so, more common in Android world, because that's easy to implement, but for attack point of view, it's a little bit lame. We'll see this locker ransomware as well in next video. So for this video we'll focus on the crypto part. So when it comes to crypto, it definitely is encryption and decryption. So we have two types of encryption algorithms which can be used in crypto ransomware. First is symmetric, which basically uses single key for encryption as well as decryption. And for asymmetric, there are two keys, public key and private key. So in this video we'll see symmetric algorithm. The asymmetric part is also very much similar in implementation phase, but the reason for selecting symmetric is the usage of AES. AES is basically encryption algorithm which is majorly used in Android, and it is fast. So when it comes to symmetric, there is AES, second is DES. Those are not the only symmetric algorithm, but AES I have written here as it is majorly and widely used algorithm. And in asymmetric algorithm we have RSA, and one more is EC, and there are many others, but RSA and AES are kind of standard when it comes to symmetric and symmetric. Further is AES, there are some kind of modes that I'll explain you while we move ahead in video. So guys, AES works on block ciphers, so I am expecting that you guys know the difference between block ciphers and stream ciphers. So let's do one thing, let's quickly go through it. So there are basically two categories of ciphers, that is stream ciphers and block ciphers. So what happens is, say for example in stream cipher, I have a plain text like Shivang is making a ransomware video, and we need to encrypt this. So what happens is, this complete stream of data will go into encryption algorithm. Consider this with key in it or say password, and we'll get ciphertext or say for example C. Basically I'm denoting ciphertext as C, and the same thing Shivang is making a ransomware video. If it is implemented in block ciphers, then what will happen is, and remember we are taking AES as an example, so AES has 128 bits of blocks, so to make things easier, this whole thing will be converted into blocks or chunks of data. So say for example it will be Shivang Shiv, secondly second chunk would be say ANG is, third would be MAK, and what ING REN, and likewise. Okay, so what happens now is we have these chunks or say blocks, to be specific, blocks of data or blocks of plain text, and now this goes into encryption, and then we get a ciphertext or say first block of ciphertext, make it as C1. In second, what happens, we XOR. I expect you know what XOR is. You can easily go through Wikipedia of it. It's basically gate and all and or thingy. So let's not get much into detail now. It will be like a very long video if we do go into details of each and everything in encryption. So now what happens is this C1, this first block, is XORed with the second plain text block, and then it is sent into encryption, say ENC, and then we get C2. Similarly, the third block is XORed with this C2. Basically output of previous function is sent, or I can say the output of previous process is XORed with the current plain text and is sent into encryption, and we get C3. So henceforth it will continue till we complete whole plain text. Basically this whole thing is not covered. So one important thing to understand here is, if we see here, this first plain text is idly sent, like is blindly sent into encryption, and from security perspective this is not a good thing. So hence the concept of initialization vector came into picture. So here we don't have anything previous, right? We don't have any previous output to XOR with. So what we do here is we XOR it with IV, basically initialization vector, and this is nothing but a completely randomized data, and at the end we get ciphertext. So basically C1 plus C2 plus blah blah blah, and that basically makes up our ciphertext. So in order to understand this, let's go to image which I have open here. So as I explained you, this plain text would be, say for example Shivang is making a ransomware video or a whole bunch of a file which is having a data. Here we just took an example of a short string, but in here it could be a file, it could be any random data which we need to encrypt. So the data is converted into blocks because AES is block cipher, and this image is pretty self-explanatory now. So IV is XORed with P1 and encrypt using key, and we get C1, C2, and C1 is being sent to here for XORing with second plain text block, and so forth. You guys are like, you guys understood what I mean to say, and this particularly is our ciphertext. One more thing to understand here is key. So let me open up the Sublime again. So what is a key? It's basically not a password. Okay, let me do this way. It's not a password. So you can provide a password for encryption, as you universally know that you send some kind of password into encryption function and you get a ciphertext. But when it comes to AES, we have different type of key sizes, right? And key sizes is, say for example 128 bit, it could be 256 bit, it could be 512, right? So say for example, if I give password as say my password, or say any random password, it doesn't mean it will be precisely 128 bit or 256 bit or 5 and 2. So what Android does is it has some predefined classes which we can readily use. What it will do is, say here key, we need to generate a key. What it will do, say we selected 256 bits of AES key size, so it will do SHA 256, it will hash our password along with some kind of salt. So what salt is basically again similar to initialization vector. It's a completely random number which is always different, or we can say that's why it's called random. So say for example, someone chose the password as my password, and say for example coincidentally someone else chose the same password as my password. So what happens is again SHA 256 hashing of this my password will, say for example, give me some kind of output, and same thing will happen here. So the problem here is, you got it right, will get the same output. So imagine two random persons having same password will get same output as their key. So in order to solve this problem, like dictionary attacks and similar ones, salt was introduced, and salt could be anything. Say for example here my password plus random salt is, say whatever, user 1 is random salt, and in case of here we have say tiger as salt. So this is just an example guys, this are in bytes and these are huge. So here output is something and here output would be completely different. So this basically overcomes dictionary type of attacks. So remember, this is important. Okay, so now what we can do is let's get back to the ransomware part, because enough of encryption now. So here what an attacker can do is, he or she can provide he or she can encrypt your files with a password, with using a password which is only known to him. When I say using a password, guys, don't think that this password is being used directly into encryption. This password will be used here, a key will be generated along with a salt, and then the encryption will happen. And what an attacker can do is remove this password from victim's access, and at the end what a victim is left with is encrypted files, say some random garbage files. And now in order to decrypt, attacker can show some kind of say a message, right, that if you want to decrypt your file, send me some money and I'll send you the password. So what happens is, attacker can send again a password in return of the money, and similarly decryption will take place using the password and salt. So remember, the salt has to be same while this particular key was created for encrypting files. So in order to overcome this, one common thing which is used by attackers is they basically save this salt and initialization vector in the ciphertext itself. So I will show you how I have taken the example. So here a password remains same all the time, but salt keeps on changing from files to files. So basically password and salt will generate a secret key along with initialization vector, as I explained you here, initialization vector, and now we have this key, right? Here we have this key and initialization vector. We can take all the files, convert the files into blocks. We personally don't have to do anything. Automation like Android classes will do everything for us. So I'm spending basically more time in understanding the behind the scenes things, because we can just directly call classes and send some say password, salt and encryption process, and it will encrypt for us. But understanding this basic is important. So here password plus salt along with secret key, here it will encrypt our file. Whatever files we want, we can encrypt it. In our coding example, I have just considered .txt files for simplicity purpose. So here .txt file will be encrypted, it will get converted into ciphertext, and as I told you, right, for decryption purpose we will need same salt and initialization vector which was used while encryption. So what we can do is we can save the salt and initialization vector along with ciphertext itself, and it's okay to share salt and initialization vector, but it's not okay to share the password, right? If a user knows the password, he'll be able to decrypt. So now let's quickly jump on to our coding part. So here is basically a ransomware app, I can say this one. Let me directly run it from here. It should not take much time because once it was already done. Come online, and it's saying it's launching, launch successful. Okay, so imagine a scenario where you have come across an app, you try to open it, and as soon as you open it, this is, or say for example some advanced ransomwares, they'll click a photo from front camera and it will display that you have you were trying to access some kind of pornographic content, and the police department in your country have locked your phone, or any random message that you can use to threaten the victim. And in here it will ask for some kind of key, enter key to unlock your files. And the message that I have used here is, your files have been locked permanently and will be deleted in 24 hours. You can unlock your files by paying a ransom of $0 to Mr. XYZ. Yeah, this doesn't make any sense, but just now remember we discussed there are two types of Android ransomwares. First one is crypto and second is locker. So if this was a locker ransomware, this screen would have been stuck and user could not have been could not use his or her device, even if he used back button or say home button or anything. This screen completely sticks, so it makes your phone unusable unless and until you enter the key here. So but that's a part of this locker ransomware. We'll discuss it in our next video. This particular video is of crypto ransomware. So even if I press home button, this thing will go away. Let me show you this again. I can use my Android device, but remember the files have been encrypted. So now let's see what happens in coding part. So this is the password. So what I can do is, for simplicity purpose, I have just hard coded the password in code itself. Remember, I have seen some ransomwares which have this password included in the code itself, and it's like just a matter of reverse engineering the code and you know the key. So but advanced ransomwares won't do this. What they can do is, say very simple thing would be keep the password file in say assets folder, a simple text file which consists of password. I can, or say attacker can use it for encryption, and after the encryption is done, he or she, or basically the attacker, can completely remove this password file. So this will keep the victim hanging, and now victim doesn't have the password at all. Or secondly, what ransomware can do is it can contact CNC, like command and control center, and get the password dynamically. Say the server will respond with a password, and that password can be used over here. But again, in here, if a person, if a victim or a researcher is trying to proxy the request, then he or she can know what the password is was sent from command and control center. So here, for simplicity purpose, let's directly go to crypto, and now all the things that I have explained you in the video earlier will come into picture. So here, see guys, key length is 256, iteration count is 1000. I'll explain you what this iteration count is. Delimiter here I have used is this closing square bracket, and here is the random secure random class that I talked about for creating salt. We have this generate salt function which will generate a salt. Again down below there is a generate IV option that will again use same thing and generate initialization vector. So here this particular thing, this particular thing derive key from password and salt is what I explained you here, this thing, correct? So Android, as I told you, there are predefined classes which you just need to call. So understanding this was important. So SHA 256, why I have considered this as 256? Because if we go to crypto documentation of Android, it here says that choose a recommended algorithm, and for cipher it says AES in either CBC or GCM mode with 256 bit keys, such as this thing AES, GSM and no padding. So I guess padding I don't okay, let me explain you because this is important. Here if we go back, we had this, or consider the image over here. So as I told you, right, 128 bits of blocks are made. So just imagine that this last block is not 128 bits. Say for example it's just 100 bits, remaining 28 bits are not there. So in no padding what will happen is, I think so, it will just pad in zeros at the end to make it 128 bit of block, because having a 128 bit block is mandatory. So in here if there are different modes like PKCS 5 moding, PKCS 7 moding, padding, sorry. So over there what it will do is it will again pad some kind of bits at the end of this block if it is not 128 bit, and then after that block is processed further. So that is basically padding. If you see here in our code also we have used it somewhere. See here, yes, AES, CBC and PKCS 5. PKCS 5 is basically public key cryptography standards. I know it's public key cryptography standards, but we are using symmetric key, but don't worry, it's just the matter of terming the string for this particular get instance. So PKCS 5 padding and PKCS 7 padding, there are different type of paddings that are come. I think so latest is somewhat 11 or 12, I'm not sure though. So these are all basics. See, generate IV will get initialization vector. Up here we have generate salt. So here what we'll do first is or I can say this app does is, it will generate a salt somewhere and it will have a password. So what it will do is it will use keyspec class along with say password, salt, iteration count and key length. So iteration count is basically how many times you want to hash the function or say password per salt in order to generate the key, right? So we have taken 1000 up there for simplicity purpose, but the major the number the better the result. But again this it will cost you some CPU cycles, so it's better to take care while mentioning iteration count. I think so LastPass, have you heard about LastPass, right? It also encrypts your password to keep it safely. This doesn't mean it's a ransomware, but it has iteration count of I think so 1 lakh times. So that's too much, we have just considered 1000. So it will create the secret key. At the end of the function will have a result, and result is nothing but key. Once this key is generated, if we come down here, we have this main function that is doing the encryption part. So here we have key, we have our plain text, and remember guys, this plain text is basically the files that we want to encrypt, right? I have just taken example of txt .txt files, but if say for example it's an image, we can get the bytes from image using say bitmap, I think so, bitmap class and all. And we can at the end see here cipher.toFinal is the final function we call for encryption, and here already bytes are being passed. So if it's a image, we can get bytes. If it's PDF, you can use a small parser which reads text from PDF and send it again into this encrypt in string plain text as parameter. So any file can be encrypted using this particular function. It will take plain text, key and salt. Remember I told salt will be needed. So here if you see, we use cipher class, we get an instance of AES using CBC mode and PKCS5 padding. We generate an initialization vector. Again, IV params is basically using some specifications. We create a new IV, basically create a new object of IV parameter specs, and then after we initialize cipher object of cipher class with cipher.encrypt mode. In case of the decryption, it would be decrypt mode. We send in key and we send in the initialization vector object, and finally we have this byte which is ciphertext and cipher.doFinal plain text. So at the end of this result we will have ciphertext, which is all the encrypted part, all the jumbled up part of our plain text. And see, remember in this text, in here I showed you that here we have this ciphertext, right guys? This ciphertext is built, but in order to decrypt we will need initialization vector and salt, which was used. So what I did is I basically have converted this into delimiter is basically nothing but this thing we have defined earlier. So sorry, just give me 1 second. Yeah, here if salt is not null, we will format the string as salt first, then closing bracket, then IV, that is basically initialization vector, then our ciphertext. So this is basically encryption being taken, encryption being done. And once encryption is being done, what we can do is we can remove the password completely. Say for example, if it is stored in a text file in say asset folder, then we can completely delete the file, and as an end result a user will see this particular screen, right? So let's do one thing. Let's run this app. Let me do one thing. Let's first place some kind of text files. Yeah, so text coming back to text file, I didn't show you the main activity. So in main activity, under the onCreate function, what happens is it will basically, here if you come down, it will be getting list of all .txt files from SD card. If you see get list, yeah, here it's a function. It will basically read all the text files which are in the SD card, and here yeah, I know using text file for this example is just for simplicity purpose, because in SD card you won't be having any important text files. There might be, but you know images are very common target of attackers. They will encrypt all your images because ideally in many of the cases, like almost every time a user will be placing their image files, you know, in the SD card. So many a times even WhatsApp, I think so, it encrypts it. I think I'm wrong, but I don't remember. But initially if I know well, when I was working on WhatsApp encryption backup, it was storing that particular backup in SD card. So imagine this encrypting all the stuff, and it's kind of creating a havoc. So now here if say for example, if the extension is .txt, which is .txt because we have sent in here as txt, it will send in the list of all the files, and now here we have all the list of files with .txt extension. We will start the encryption process. So this is just some kind of, you know, layouts that I have prepared for finally calling the crypto functions. So in here crypt encrypt, text encrypt, we start the process. Initially basically what we do is we read the contents of a file, and then we call start encryption. Start encryption is nothing but it will create it will call crypto generate salt, and it will create a key out of the password, and it will, you know, finally call the encrypt function. As I told you, right, in this encrypt function doFinal is being called, and hence we finally have this file. And then what we'll do is you know, we'll replace the file, right? We'll open up a file, we'll read the content, we'll convert the plain text into ciphertext, and we'll replace that particular content, the plain text, into ciphertext, and you can just enjoy yourself here by placing some kind of extensions to the encrypted file, right. Recently there were many like .pahd on Windows. I saw some of my friends were having ransomwares on their Windows machines, and all the files were having this weird extension of say .pahd or some random extensions. So what I did is, just for simplicity, like for fun purpose, I am using .shiv as the extension, and that's it. The file is renamed, and except this is just exception handling. So let's run this thing quickly. I know this video is getting a bit long, but encryption is a very lengthy thing. So we can do is, we can desktop some BT. Okay, so we have this file important.txt. this is nothing but testing file. This is important file. This is the content of file. This is just a random file. Let's do one more. So this is secret, and say what important 2.txt. now let's place these two files into SD card, important.txt, important2.txt, to SD card and pushed. Let's go to DB shell, let's go to SD card, and if we see here, yeah, okay, this is for this is when I was trying the code. So we can remove this important.txt shiv. Okay, so now we have these two important files on SD card, say important.txt, important2.txt. so now what we can do is, we can just simply run this particular code and see what happens. So let me show you again the contents of file here in our SD card. Okay, so this is the same content as I showed you, and cat important, let's go 2.txt. so this is a secret. So remember guys, like now let's run this thing. Activity text encrypt. Okay, and just give it a moment. Anyways, AES encryption is fast, so it should not take much time. Launching activity and succeeded, and if we see the logs here, you can see that I just put logs for debugging purpose. So rather than seeing the logs, let's directly go here. Remember we had these two files. Now if we do ls-l, see important.shiv, important.txt.shiv, isn't it the ransomwares work the similar way, right? It will just encrypt your files and give some kind of weird extensions. So now let's see what this thing have now in them. You see, this is completely encrypted, and boom, we have completely attacked our victim. And unless and until I will not I will not use the password here, it won't be decrypted. So let me show you again the important2.txt. yeah, that's completely garbage value. So guys, this is the complete randomized data. So remember we were using delimiter, so this basically is the delimiter we are using. This, remember the closing bracket. So in short, this is the salt, this is the initialization vector that was used, and from here is our garbage data, or we can say encrypted data. So in important2.shiv was having just a small message, so the encryption is smaller. So now imagine that the password has been taken care of by the attacker, and user doesn't know the password currently. What I'll have to do is, I'll have to pay $0 to Mr. XYZ, and then he'll give me the password, and password is very complicated, which is password. So as soon as I input this and press decrypt, what will happen is the decrypt routine will take place. So let's understand what decrypt routine is. So this is the button code goes here. So button decrypt set on click listener, and whenever the user will click the button, what it will do is, I was making a mistake here, but under the on click button, on click press or function, will get the text from this particular text view in here, and then we'll call start decryption. So guys, remember, start decryption is nothing but just the reverse of encryption, taking like the reverse happening at the back end. But if we see from coding perspective, we just have to change here from encrypt mode to decrypt mode. So let's open up text decrypt. If we go here, text decrypt is here, and in main activity Java, we called start decryption. Basically start decryption will again go here. Where is start decryption? Here it will get the list of all the files with .shiv extension, because remember, that's our encrypted file. Now the attacker has given us the password, which means that attacker wants to unlock our files. So hence now we have this encrypted list. Secondly, we'll create a object of text decrypt class and called start decrypt process. In here again, this is exactly reverse of text encrypt. In text encrypt, what we did was, we got the list of .txt files, we read its content, we encrypted its content, and we placed the encrypted content back into the file with extension as .shiv. So now what we have to do is, we will take .shiv files, we will take the file contents, we will decrypt the content, and we will place it in the file, the plain text, and remove the .shiv extension. So here we will get the file, we will read the file content, we will start decryption, we will file content, password, and down below start decryption. Here we just call crypto.decrypt. So here is the crypto function, this is the crypto decrypt function, and in here we see, we take the salt here, if you see, and this is the cipher bytes, the end part. We again derive the key using salt and password, again the basics that I explained earlier, and in here everything the same, and we use decrypt mode, and inside the do final function we send in cipher bytes, and in return what we get is plain text. Now we take this plain text and replace it into the .shiv file, we put in the content in that file and remove the extension. Like here, if we see, we are renaming the file to again back to its original name. So let's see that in practical. Here I have inputted the password. Here we have this encrypted files, and as soon as I press decrypt, if we see, file content decrypted, ciphertext blah blah blah, file written, this is the file. Okay, so here I can place something like, finally you have unlocked your files, or something. For testing purpose, let's see here, and boom, we have our text files back. So this is converted to this. So let's quickly check. Yippee, we have our files back after paying $0. Awesome. So that was all guys for today's session. I know this is a bit long, but so is the topic and its importance. So let's meet in next video with Locker. Yes, with Locker ransomware. Again, that's going to be fun. So thank you. Bye.